Hello, my name is Ricky Westbrook, and I'm here to talk to you guys to tell you guys today about the lack of funding that's going on in our schools. Funding in schools and many services has greatly decreased over the past decade. More and more schools across the country are beginning to show that they need aid with more money as the textbooks, calculators, utensils, and technological advancements begin to decline as far as usage. No money for schools simply means no extracurricular activities, no sports, no field trips, no refreshments, and most importantly, a decline in educational opportunities for the students. And my research on this issue will support that as I speak to you today. Today, I will speak about how bad this has affected schools nationwide and what can be done to improve the amount of money that they receive and why this issue is important to begin with, especially towards furthering the education of our future generations. So first off, I would like to bring up on you today how greatly the lack of funding has negatively affected our schools. According to Listy Parlow, she stated on September 20th, 2018, that teacher walkouts and protests in 7 states highlighted the chronic disinvestment in the U.S. K-12 program classrooms. Arkansas was not a part of these 7, but accompanied by a successful social media campaign, these protests had Americans all over the country asking why public school teachers are not paid enough to support their families, and why students are using dilapidated textbooks, and why they are attending crumbling schools. In another one of my sources, Catherine Brown, on November 17, 2018, also stated that on average, 47% of K-12 education funding comes from state revenue, while local government provides 45%, and the federal government provides the remaining 8%. Because schools depend on the state funding for about half of their revenue, they must drastically cut spending when states provide less, especially when local districts cannot cover the gap. And over the past decade, states with the steepest funding decline has seen 1/5 of state education funding vanish. So, as I stated, we can come to a conclusion that lack of funding means low salaries for teachers and pay cuts to education spending, which negatively hinders all aspects of student academic experience, from the condition of the school building to the other courses and the teachers in the classroom. You would think that teachers' salary doesn't have an effect on the conditions of their school, but when in all reality, they really do. And it accounts for most of the public school spending. So next, I'm going to discuss with you guys today is what needs to be changed in order to improve the funding that these schools are getting. So my first source comes from Lainey Kennedy. She said on June 14, 2019, when school leaders work to create a more sustainable environment, this can help reduce necessary expenses. Many schools stick to old paper systems for billing, payroll, and registration. When schools switch to online alternatives, they can reduce the cost of printing and use of paper. This helps the environment while saving cash. Schools can also implement frameworks to reduce spending on electricity, water, and heating in order to better the conditions of the school. Now, I agree with Kennedy on this, because my school, I'm from Central. I went to Little Rock Central High in high school, which is in Little Rock, of course. But one of the big issues of our school was the air conditioning and the quality. Like, the school is so old, and it's an historic school, and you can't really change anything. Like, you can't refurbish nothing, which I always hated, but I understood because it is an historic school. But yeah, I agree, because you have to clean it up.